Welcome back everyone, Mudford here. Got the Buick in the shop today. It's getting its new sway bar. The end of the sway bar is broken off on the passenger side and the link was gone. Because of that, I looked around, went with a ZZP sway bar. It's only $79. Comes with the solid sway bar, the links, the brackets, and the bolts. So we just got to get our car lifted up in the air and hopefully we can snake that out and get the new one in. So the first thing we're going to do is raise it up in the air, get it on jack stands, and get the wheels off. So here's why we're replacing the bar. This is the end of it. It's all busted here. Where the eyelet is gone. You can see this is where the bottom part of the link hooks into the control arm. So there's supposed to be a hole here, and it's busted right off. So all we really have to do on this side, there's a bolt here and a bolt on the front side. We just have to take those two bolts out and this side will be completely loose. So we're going to go ahead and do that, and then we'll move over to the other side. On the other side we will have to take the link off also. So I just used a 15mm ratcheting wrench on the back bolt. It gives me the most room and I can get the most turn in. You might have to double wrench it to get it started. I used a 3/8 drive on the front one, and I had to raise up the control arm with the jack because I had my jack stand under the frame, so my suspension was hanging, and when it was, the tie rod was angled down more and my ratchet handle would hit that and I couldn't get any turn in. Now it seems to be working great. Everything's loose. We're going to go ahead and pull these two bolts out and then we'll head over to the other side. So the passenger side is done. I moved over to the driver's side. Sway bar link is still in. I sprayed it with some PB Blaster. If you take a look at the end of the sway bar, it's not much better than the other side. It's split, coming apart. We're going to go ahead and try to buzz this off. I probably should have just used the torch and cut it since we got new ones anyway. But I already sprayed PB Blaster on it. So we're going to go ahead and give it a shot. As expected, that did not work well. I was hoping it might break, but I couldn't get it to break even. So what we're going to do, hit it with the torch and try to cut this right off right on the bottom side of the nut, and then hopefully the link will fall throughout the bottom. I'm going to try to direct my flame to keep it away from the CV boots, because I don't want to have to replace an axle shaft for no reason. Hot wrench engaged. Yeah, you'll have that sometimes. Sometimes you just need more heat. careful enough. Now I'm going to have to buy a new boot, or I might as well just buy a whole new axle shaft. These are pretty old. If I'm going to be racing it, I might as well just replace it. But I wasn't really planning on it. I'm kind of disappointed in myself. I should have grabbed a sawzall with a metal blade and just hacked that off rather than grabbing the torch, just because it was convenient, because there was too much rubber there and the rubber caught on fire and I could not get it to fall out in time and melted the stupid boot. I got the bolts out that hold the sway bar to the frame with the same 15mm ratcheting wrench I used on the other side, but this is all loose now. We'll see how it comes out. I have the feeling this could be a little on the tricky side. We'll see. One thing I do not want to do is damage my ABS sensor here. Which looks like where we're headed here. Just slip by. There we go. Got it to go underneath. We'll have to check the other side out and see what we got. Keep feeding it. First thing I did was take the mounts off. Just tapped them off with a hammer and a screwdriver, and then it's just like a puzzle. You just turn the bar in different ways and then it comes out and it'll be hitting stuff, and then all of a sudden it'll just pop right out. So that part isn't real difficult. Now I'm ready to get the new ZZP bar back in. The bar slid right in with it tipped up, but now when I go to tip it down, it's going to hit the tie rod. So I got to take this one out anyway, now that I'm changing the axle shaft. So I'm going to go ahead and buzz this tie rod end off and lift this up out of the way and then get it down in there. So I ended up taking the outer tie rods off. I'm going to be replacing those now. It was just a heck of a lot easier to get it in with those out of the way. The tie rods were pretty old, and when I went to take them loose to pop them out, the nut wouldn't come off the end and it started spinning the ball in the socket. So I figured, as old as these things are, might as well just put new ones on now. They're not that expensive. So I'm going to run into town to get new ones, but first I'm going to go ahead and get this sway bar on. So I've got it kind of in place. I'm going to slide the new bracket on and get the bolts started, and then I'm going to go ahead and get the link in. Pretty straightforward. You just pull them apart and there's a split in the bottom of it. Go ahead and slip it over the bar, and then we just have to set that on and bolt it down. You can see the bracket is on and the bolts are started, so we're going to go ahead now and get the link on. It is all together, at least the way mine came, so we need to take it apart and kind of remember the way it goes. So all of this stuff needs to come off. And I'm definitely not going to be able to hold the camera and do this, but I'm going to put it up through, then put the next pieces on once I get it through the control arm, put the next couple pieces on, and then get it through the sway bar, and then put the top piece on and start the... Okay, got it all started. Just got to put the rubber piece on the top here. And then the washer and the nut are one piece on this, which is kind of handy. So all we got to do is buzz those down. And then what I think we'll do before we tighten everything down is we'll go ahead and get the bracket started on the other side. We're going to leave the link off on the other side. I'm going to have to pry down on the control arm, and I don't want to be fighting the sway bar when I'm swinging this out of the way to get the axle shaft out. So I'm just going to go ahead and put a socket and a wrench on it and tighten her up. Okay, there it is. So that's it, the new ZZP sway bar all installed. Had some trouble with my video camera, so had to finish up with the iPhone. So sorry if the quality isn't quite as good. I took the tie rod off and swung the inner up out of the way. That did make it a lot easier. But the only problem was my tie rod ends were old, and couldn't get them apart, and then ended up cutting them off. So that ended up being a little more expensive than I thought. These are the Duralast ones from AutoZone. They were $41 each, which I thought was quite high. But anyway, had to get them, so went ahead and got the Duralast ones. And then everything went back together really good after that. And we're ready to try this car out now and see if it handles a little bit better. I'm sure it will, going from no sway bar at all hooked up to this very stiff ZZP one. So I'm pretty excited about that. Can't wait to give it a try.